Because there's been so many memes and like animated memes about like the trial. Whenever I see Amber Heard in this outfit, I can't help but think about that TikTok that went viral. It was like an animated one of like Amber getting really sweaty or something. This is the face. Okay.
He'd already sued his former business managers and his former lawyer, accusing them of mismanaging his money. Then came the defamation suit Depp filed against Amber Heard.
We, the jury.
I feel like Johnny Depp grew up like his entire life just being really nice to people, treating people well, people around him. And people took advantage of that. And at some point during this whole 2016 drama, he just fucking had enough. He was like, you know what? Fuck all these people taking advantage of me. I'm gonna fucking come for you guys. I'm gonna come from the business manager who was stealing money from him. The lawyer, I don't remember the story of the lawyer. Was the lawyer helping the business manager steal money as well or something like that? I'm gonna come for Amber Heard. Like, I'm just so glad that, like, even though he's almost 60, he's like, fuck this shit. I'm gonna fucking stand up for myself. It's not too late to stand up for yourself, guys. And it must really suck too, because you must feel like a horrible sense of betrayal. Just having a lot of people around you that you thought you can trust, screw you over like that. And I think he also fired his, the one that testified against him, Tracy. Is that her name? Tracy? She was like his agent.
That Heard wrote in the Washington Post in 2018.
And also, sorry, I'm just going to interject really quick. And what I thought that was like really funny was that people were telling Johnny, hey, Johnny, you know, you going around suing all these people, it's a bad look for you. You shouldn't be doing this. Like, you know what? Fuck you. Let him, you know, like he was getting screwed by so many people. What is he supposed to do? Just sit there and just let it happen and not say anything about it? Like this, I think it's really sad when people that are really nice, they end up like standing up for themselves. And then people around them are like, wait, what are you doing? Like, you shouldn't be doing this. Like, this is going to be a bad look for you. It's like, fuck that shit.
Around the same time, she obtained a domestic violence restraining order against Johnny Depp.
Oh my God. Whenever I see this picture and knowing the whole story behind it now with TMZ stuff, how they deployed
abuse 2 years prior. Around the same time, she obtained a domestic violence
how they fucking deployed cameras on purpose to get a picture of her, to have her pause, to have her put her hair back like that. Like, oh my God, it's just so sickening to see all this, like, especially in fucking hindsight.
Training order against Johnny Depp. So how did
it's just so sad
team that made such a splash come together? And why did Johnny?
Oh yeah, what's Mr. Roddenborn been up to? Ben Roddenborn, what have you been up to? We haven't heard about you in a while. Ben Roddenborn is smart. He's been laying low. No press conferences. He's probably doing all his lawyer shit behind the scenes. He's like, oh man, Elaine, she on fire. You know, let her be in the limelight. I'm good.
Johnny Depp want to go through a second trial.
Well, Camille and Jess, how are you two doing since the trial?
Very good. Glad to be back together.
Yes. I'm really curious about how you guys
I don't know why it's so low. I'm making it a little bit louder for you.
Assembled this legal team, because you had Ben Chu, who worked on the TMG lawsuit, and then you guys somehow came into this.
Well, I've actually worked with Ben since the beginning. We both came from a different firm, not together, but we came to Brown Rudnick, and he brought the Johnny Depp cases. I've worked on all of Johnny's litigation that our firm has handled, and this obviously was an extremely personal case for Johnny, and Ben and him asked me to join their team shortly after the complaint was filed. And then I was specifically looking for other female litigators. It was important to me to have female perspectives on this case, and I had heard wonderful things about Jessica.
Yeah, female and young. I think it's good that they had young people. The dude, I don't know if I believe that, Christy.
She was a really fantastic writer, strong writer, and we tapped her to join the team.
I want you to tell me about why you felt it was so important to have female litigators.
Well, I thought that women bring an interesting perspective, especially to the issues that we were facing in this case. It's in a lot of ways a Me Too case, and I thought that having a female perspective and a voice and a different set of eyes on the issues.
And then PR-wise, it just wouldn't look good to have like a team of men, older men, just like going at it against Amber Heard in the courtroom. So it's good they had like a mixed group of people. I think it definitely looked way better. And like, I think it was really smart to have Camille do the questioning for Amber Heard, to have Jessica do the questioning for Johnny Depp. So it was a good look.
In this case was important.
And just like how I think they did a good job with getting, you know, Ben Roddenborn to do the questioning for Johnny Depp. But, you know, Elaine, I don't know about Elaine.
Too was obviously a big part of this case and continues to be in the aftermath.
You know, I think that's unfortunate. I think that this was a case where she had her day in court. It didn't go her way. And what I've always said, and I think universally we've said, domestic violence doesn't have a gender. And what this case showed, I believe, is that it was Mr. Depp, in fact, who was the victim of domestic violence in this relationship.
Oh, yeah, I'm glad they blurred this part out. That shit was pretty fucking gnarly. If you guys haven't seen the actual photos of his fingers, oof, it is pretty gory.
Jess, how do you feel about that?
I realized that there were very difficult issues that we would face when this ultimately got to trial. But once I was involved and saw the evidence, I never had one doubt that we were on the right side of it.
Fairfax County, Virginia, came more than a year after Johnny Depp lost his lawsuit in the UK against The Sun. The tabloid published an editorial by Dan Wooten, who questioned why J.K. Rowling would cast a, quote, wife beater in one of her films. The Sun's star witness as it defended itself against Depp's libel claim.
Oh my God, look at Elaine. Elaine.
Depp's ex-wife, Amber Heard. Justice Andrew Nichols wrote in a 129-page decision that he believed Heard's claims of abuse were, quote, substantially true, so The Sun won. But in Virginia, Judge Penny Ascarati denied Heard's request to dismiss Depp's lawsuit, writing she didn't agree with Heard's argument that Depp was able to fully and fairly litigate the UK suit.
Yes, Judge
In the UK
Penny.
trial, Depp wasn't suing Heard. But in Virginia, Depp sued Heard for her words in the Washington Post piece.
A lot of people don't understand the differences between that case and the Virginia case.
Well, it was, I mean, dramatic, talking a completely different
Why did I
country
type that?
with different laws, different procedures.
Yeah, tell that
And
to
I think
Elaine.
the major difference is that Ms. Heard was not a party. And that's really important because when you're not a party, you have different disclosure obligations. And when I say disclosure obligations, I'm literally talking about the evidence.
What I really want to know is who was in charge of her outfits? Why would they give her the Dr. Evil outfit on the first day that she is going to be cross-examined by Camille Vasquez? Why? Why did anyone say like, hey, you know, that outfit looks kind of evil. I don't know if she should be wearing that.
Evidence that's submitted that the court considers. It was also not a jury trial. It was decided by one judge. So I think that there were really dramatic differences in the testimony, the evidence that came in, and frankly, the issues that were considered by that particular court.
One other real, I think, significant difference is that there weren't direct examinations.
That's also correct.
So when a witness took the stand, they were only being cross-examined. They weren't up there telling their story. They were just saying.
Yeah, which I think is really weird because I feel like, you know, you kind of have to get like two sides of the story, right? So in England, like what Jessica was saying, you don't get direct examination. So Johnny Depp, Amber Heard, they were never questioned by their own lawyers. There was always questioned by the opposing lawyers, which I thought was just like really weird because like, wouldn't you want to get like a full side of the story instead of just like having someone go up there and just being hammered by all these fucking questions and shit? But yeah, I don't know. Interesting.
You know,
Kim Jong-un, yeah, that too.
no, that's not true, or yeah, yes, ma'am. They were answering leading questions that was asked by an adverse attorney. And so there wasn't the opportunity that there was here to sort of give this more narrative testimony about their experience.
That's very true.
Both Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. Think actress Ellen Barkin and British supermodel Kate Moss. But really this
Oh yeah, Ellen Barkin. I forgot about Ellen Barkin. Oh yeah, she did testify, didn't she?
trial would likely come down to who the jury believed most, Johnny Depp or Amber Heard.
And when you say violence, what are you referring to specifically?
Miss Heard, in her frustration and in her rage and her anger, she would strike out. She would. It could begin with a slap.
Jessica Myers graduated from Boston University's School of Law in 2015. A mere 7 years later, she was in the middle of the highest profile case of her career.
Holy shit. 7 years later. Oh my God. Newspapers in the UK get away with some disgusting stuff. I was on Johnny's legal team. I told him not even bother with taking him to court. It's just bad here. Depp was on the stand was amazing.
Johnny Depp would become the first witness she'd ever questioned at a jury trial.
Mr. Depp, how do you feel about the intimate details of your life being aired in this process?
It's quite exposing.
When we talked to Ben, he said that they tried to match the attorneys with the personalities of the people they were examining. And so you were paired with Johnny Depp, who was basically the star witness for his case. I mean, really, along with the audio tapes, I think. Yes. So when were you asked to handle Johnny Depp's testimony?
It was maybe about a month before the trial.
A month before the trial? Oh my God.
We were considering who would handle all the witnesses. This is around
A month before? I feel like I want like a 6 month notice.
the time that
Holy
I think
shit.
we determined
Hi,
that
Habib.
Camille would be handling Ms. Heard's testimony.
We saw Miss Lee. We saw the jacket. I'll show chat again because it looks so fucking good.
And Ben asked me if I wanted to do it, and I said, of course. How could you possibly turn that down? And while it was daunting, at the time we had been working very hard, and I knew how supportive this team was.
And it's like doing your job, and especially when you're young, you're like lacking some experience, and this is like a high profile client. You're in a courtroom. You got to impress your peers. Ben Chu is like the partner in the firm, and not only that, this whole fucking thing is like televised, and millions of people are watching it. It's like, oh my God, it's so fucking nerve-wracking, and they did such a good job.
Johnny Depp testified over 4 days.
What have you lost as a result of Ms. Heard making these allegations against you?
Nothing less than everything.
And Depp faced a tough cross-examination by Amber Heard's lawyer.
You found that drugs are the only way to numb your pain, right?
They've always been a medicine for me, yes.
But it was the way that Jessica Myers ended the redirect of Johnny Depp that drew praise.
The abuse thing is we've got to deal with that, yeah. And why did you put that out there?
I did not. You forced me. Your team forced me to.
Myers played an audio clip of Depp and Heard talking after Heard had obtained a
Yeah, man, those fucking audio clips. I'm gonna keep saying this like a broken fucking record, but those audio tapes was what is basically what destroyed her. The fucking audio tapes. They were so fucking bad. Like the evidence was already bad. Her lack of evidence was already bad, but it was the audio tapes that I think just sealed it for a lot of fucking people.
restraining order against Depp in 2016.
Like, if you guys remember, during the UK trial, one of her friends, Amanda Cadenette, she was the one that had the birthday party after like the phone incident. Apparently, she saw Amber Heard. There was a picture that Amber Heard took at the birthday party, and like I think her hair like covers where the bruise was supposed to be, so we don't know if there really was the bruise there when she was at the birthday party or not. But apparently, the Amanda, her friend, was going to testify. But after the audio tape was leaked, she was like, yeah, Amber Heard misled me. Yeah, I'm not going to testify. Yeah, sorry. I'm not going to get involved in this.
Heard challenged Depp to tell the world that she had abused him.
The kind of mineral spirits thrown at my nose.
You can please tell people that it was a fair fight and see what the jury and judge think. Tell the world, Johnny. Tell them, Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp, man, I'm a victim too of domestic violence, and
yes.
It's a fair fight. And see how many people believe or side with you.
And what did you say in response when Miss Heard said, "Tell the world, Johnny. Tell them, Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp, a man, I'm a victim too of domestic violence"?
I said, yes, I am.
I have nothing further, Your Honor.
You ended with a bang. I mean, and it was just, it was kind of almost like a mic drop moment, for lack of a better term, with that audio clip.
Yes.
Did you guys discuss that that's the way we were going to map this out?
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
I think while obviously some of the questions, we wrote individual sections of pretty much all of the examinations, where we would go, what evidence we would use, what recordings, what documents, that was all really a team discussion and signed off on by everyone.
Another big decision to be made: who would cross-examine Amber Heard? That assignment went to Camille Vasquez.
Man, they did such a good job choosing Camille. At first, I told you guys this. I wasn't sure if Camille Vasquez was in... Oh, look at Whitney in the background. Whitney always got these death stares, man. At first, I was like, "Oh man, I don't know, man," because like we've already seen like the snarky side of Amber Heard. I don't know if she's gonna be able to combat. I felt like Camille Vasquez was gonna be too soft, but when Camille Vasquez went up there, she completely changed my mind. She went at it like, whew, she had her fucking force with Camille Vasquez. I was like, man, like I don't know, she looks like she's too nice, too sweet, like she's gonna get steamrolled. Like, nah, she did a really good job.
Could we unredact
Your Honor,
them so we could get context?
That's how it's in evidence.
That's how it's in evidence.
Next question.
Well, the metadata next to it is so that
Ms.
to
Heard,
avoid this
Ms.
sort of
Heard, there is no question pending.
This is Amber Heard trying to explain the metadata. Just like how she was trying to explain the makeup line stuff. Like, oh man.
I would appreciate it if you wouldn't be making argument to the jury.
Sorry, I
It's
thought you had
inappropriate.
asked me about it.
No, I didn't ask you about anything.
How did you all make the decision that you were going to be the one that cross-examined Amber Heard? I think it was expected that it would be a woman.
I had the privilege of deposing Amber for one day. Ben handled 2 days of her deposition in January. And at the end of that, I think it became clear to the team that I was more effective at eliciting the type of testimony we needed from her. And so it was, really a foregone conclusion by the time we started preparing for trial that I would be the one doing her cross-examination. Really, the cross-examination was a battle, and it was something that we prepared for, but there were a lot of unexpected things that transpired during that cross-examination. Please,
What was
try
your
to answer
question?
my question.
Yeah, when she couldn't get her to admit the donation, the pledge thing, and Ben Chu gave the sticky to fucking Camille Vasquez because he just couldn't take it anymore. And the sticky was like, you had the money for 15 months and you're saying that you couldn't afford to pay the pledge?
Sitting here today, you have not donated the $7 million, donated, not pledged, donated the $7 million divorce settlement to charity.
I use pledge and donation synonymous with one another. They
But
are
I
the same
don't.
thing.
Ms. Heard, I don't use it synonymously.
That's how donations are paid.
I'm pretty sure all the lawyers told her, no, Amber. Just admit to it. Admit to it. And Amber's like, no, I'm never going to admit to this. I don't want them to think I'm a bad person. And Elaine's like, whatever, fine. Do whatever the fuck you want, that bitch. See what happens.
Ms. Heard, respectfully, that's not my question.
Because you have to remember the donation thing wasn't really contested because it wasn't until after the UK trial that they found out that she actually didn't really donate the full amount. During the UK trial, the judge believed her that she donated the amount and that was it, So for her to actually have to like battle that in trial, that was like probably like the first time. Well, they did a deposition, I know, but like that was the first time like in live trial where, that was actually being disputed. So
Credibility was crucial.
hi, Auntie.
The
How are you
question
doing
the jury
today?
had to answer was what Amber Heard wrote true or a lie, and was it written to hurt Johnny Depp?
It's not about Johnny. The only one who thought it was about Johnny is Johnny.
But later in the trial, during Heard's rebuttal case, her story changed.
I know how many people will come out and say whatever for him. That's his power. That's why I wrote the op-ed. I was speaking to that.
That was my favorite slip up. Actually, this is my favorite outfit of Amber Heard's, by the way. I really like this this jacket here. I really like that color. But we could just X it out right here. Anyways.
How many people will come out in support of him and will fall to his
It's like when she slipped up. What was it again when they were doing the there was like another deposition they did where she slipped up about the TMZ, sending TMZ to like the photo location or something like that. Oh man.
power. He is a very powerful man, and people love currying favor with powerful men.
There was that moment, and it stood out to me where she said, I wrote this because of his power.
Right.
What were your thoughts when she said that?
I mean, I thought about really capitalizing and underlining that for the jury when she said it, but I thought it was best to just let that sit there for a second. So if you go back, you'll notice that I actually paused before I asked my next question. And that was me, two things, trying to decide whether I was going to put, a big underline and bold that statement, or if I was just going to let the jury
marinate
hear it. Mm-hmm. And I chose letting the jury hear it.
Throughout the trial, members of the legal team were sometimes up until 5:30 in the morning, prepping for that day. You could see them passing Post-its back and forth during key testimony, even chiming in on objections.
Objection,
there's so
lack
many.
of foundation.
Along with Johnny Depp's testimony, the team felt Heard's testimony was key to winning the case.
I think a big turning point was actually at the end of Amber's direct examination. I don't think she did herself any favors. I think that we universally thought that.
With each passing day, as more evidence was presented on
Oh, thank you so much for licking the button. I appreciate it. Thank you. More licks, please. The more licks we get, the more we'll get to the Tootsie Pop in the middle. Yeah. Like, I feel like some of you guys won't even know that reference. Anyone here that's like a Zoomer probably don't know the Tootsie Pop reference? I don't think that commercial's a thing anymore, right?
Can you tell me how many licks to the center of a Tootsie Pop?
1, 2.
The world may never know.
We bet.
live television, and word spread that the trial was being held in Virginia. The number of Johnny Depp supporters
Oh
that
shit, look
gathered
at that.
outside the
Look at his
courthouse
head.
grew.
So cute.
Depp's lawyers
Oh,
also
got a big
gained a
ass
fan
head.
base.
Reminds me of the time when my mom took my dog to pet, or her dog to Petco, and it's a Pomeranian, and it came back with a lollipop head. Okay, it looked just like that fucking llama. I don't know what they did at Petco, but they shaved the body and left the head all floofy, and it looks so funny. You're always gonna be a youngin', forever, at heart at least.
On June 1st,
Camila.
after more than 12 hours of deliberation, the jury reached a verdict.
Do you find that Mr. Depp has proven all the elements of defamation?
Oh man, when we were watching this, oh my god, how long did it take again for them to deliberate? It was like over the weekend and it was a holiday, right? Oh man, this is so nerve-wracking. I was so nervous. I was like, man, if one person on there, one fucking person believed Amber, oof. Her ego would be like fucking off the fucking roof. Because imagine her ego every time when the news outlet, when the people believed her, when she won the UK trial, like the ego just grew bigger and bigger and bigger. And she probably felt like she was like untouchable.
Answer, yes.
Johnny Depp won all three of his claims against Amber Heard. The award, $10.35 million. The verdict meant the jury believed that Heard lied and did so with actual malice.
The claims against Johnny Depp are defamatory and unsupported by any evidence.
Remember what Elaine said about them? Elaine was like, oh, y'all over there running your victory laps, blah, 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 blah. Meanwhile, the day after, Elaine goes on like 3 different TV shows. It's so wild how they took that long to even write some amounts. I'm actually glad that they took some time to deliberate. Yeah, I think it was good they took some time to deliberate, you know, and not just like make a decision right away. But yeah, the amount thing was kind of weird. It was like, hello? And then they came back so quickly with the amount. It's like, Juan Martinez would have ended the trial in a day. Ma'am, did you poop in Mr. Depp's bed? Ma'am, are you having memory problems again? we gotta finish the Jody trial stuff.
We are grateful, so grateful to the jury for their careful deliberation.
I've mentioned this on the air several times. You know, I don't know Johnny Depp. I don't really, I only knew what I had seen in interviews with him as I prepped to cover this trial. But I did notice, and I refer back to this a lot, that there was a TikTok video that our network made of our first day of covering this. And he kind of had a sad, bewildered look on his face.
Yeah, Johnny Depp, the first couple days, he looked like a hot fucking mess. Like, he was like, you could tell he was like sleeping. Like, he was just like, man, like, I'm so tired. But as each day progressed, like, he was like happier and chippier. And like, yeah, it was just such a huge difference in demeanor. But I'm so glad that after, I think Johnny Depp put his hair down like the first day. I'm so glad he put his hair up because Johnny Depp with his hair down like this, he looked kind of messy, but yeah.
The first day or so. But it seemed like that changed.
See, like this Johnny Depp right here, you know, hair slicked back, like he looked good. I'm not saying he doesn't look good with his hair down like that, but it just looked a little messy, you know. It looked like he needs some sleep.
Trial progressed.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, this is a very stressful, intense moment in anyone's lives. Now, you know, times that by what, 1 million? This is a public figure. This is someone that has lived his life in front of cameras always, right? I think for him, he was under a tremendous amount of pressure, especially the first week. He was nervous, as we all were. But I think after opening statements, after we started the case in chief, right, after we put on the first witnesses, I think that he started trusting in the process a bit more.
With his hair down, he looked too much like Johnny Depp in the movie star, even if it was messy. I was getting like Secret Window vibes.
Invented him. Listen to me, not to him.
You guys ever watch Secret Window? It came out in like, I think, early 2000s, where he's like a writer. He becomes really paranoid about something, and he looking a little crazy. So yeah, Secret Window vibes.
More and becoming more confident.
Good movie, by the way. I think it's still free on YouTube.
And what we were doing together, all together, and yes, I noticed that as well. His mood definitely lightened, and I think he, really enjoyed.
Wait, sorry, quick. I'm sorry, Camille Vasquez. I need to interrupt you for a second there. Did anyone here watch that Hot Take movie on Tubi? I didn't watch it yet. I don't know how to watch it. People said like you can watch on your like smart TV or something like that. Did anyone watch it? There's this one scene where they did a they did like a scene where the actor playing Johnny Depp was like drawing in the courtroom, and like he was drawing this really I don't know, it was so fucking weird. Oh my god, it was this part where he was like doodling in court, and it was a little creepy looking skeleton, like happy face dude. Like I don't know what the fuck it was. It was so creepy.
Collaborating with us, and
How
he
dare
was
he.
a key collaborator. I mean, every break, every lunch, when we would come back from court, every day, we would see him. We would go through the day, we would talk about the next day, we would get his perspectives, we would, and he does have an amazing ability to recall details from years past. And so, his insight into this trial was fundamental. I mean, we couldn't have done it without him.
Meanwhile, Amber over there recalling the details of the carpet fibers on the floor. She was laying there.
I know.
What did she say again? Oh, I forgot. It was like something about like when she was on the ground and she was like looking at the carpet fibers or something. I don't know. It was like something weird like that. He made me think he owned a chocolate. He does own a chocolate factory. You didn't know that? Yeah, he did a collaboration with Mr. Beast. He owns a chocolate factory. Totally.
I know you guys went to Europe. I saw the videos on social media of you at his concert with Jeff Beck. So how is he doing now?
He's great. He's so great. He's happy. I see him, there's a lightness to him.
Yes.
We were talking about that. There's such a lightness to him now. He's free. He finally was able to tell the world his side of the story, and this jury believed him. I mean, they validated what he's been saying to us for years.
It was such a lovely thing to just see him doing what he loves with people.
No, not that I know of. I'm just fucked around, Nate. Gotcha.
People that he cares about after this, what I can only imagine was a traumatic decade or so.
While Depp won all 3 of his claims against Amber Heard, he was found liable for 1 of 3 of Heard's claims, for the words of his lawyer, Adam Waldman, to the Daily Mail.
Oh man, it would be so funny that when they do the appeal, if they actually get that part appealed, like none of Amber Heard gets appealed, but if Johnny Depp was able to get that one statement appealed, and they're like, yeah, you don't need to pay her for this, you good.
This was an ambush, a hoax. They set Mr. Depp.
Because Camille Vasquez mentioned in a different interview that they wouldn't have appealed if Amber Heard didn't appeal. They would have just left it as is. But you know what she did? She fucking appealed, so they had to as well. Get everything on the record, set it straight.
Up by calling the cops. So Amber and her friends spilled a little wine and roughed the place up, got their story straight under the direction of a lawyer and a publicist, and then placed a second call to 911. Did you make those statements?
I believe I said that, yes.
When can we expect something to be filed by you all?
Also, can we get Adam Waldman back on Twitter? His tweets are so spicy. I can hear Emily D. Baker in my head repeating, "Tell the world," while taking notes. That'll be hilarious.
On the appeal, because people may not really realize it, but Johnny Depp was found liable for defamation for the words of his lawyer.
We're hopeful, right? There's not a lot of case law in Virginia on this particular very nuanced legal issue. So we're hopeful that the court will take it into consideration and rule our way. I think the jury's verdict on this point is important to highlight because there were 2 other statements that they did not find.
Has she made any payments to Johnny yet? No, she's going through appeal. So what I want to know is, has she made any payment towards the bond amount? Because Judge Penny says she has to do the judgment amount plus 6% interest, and did she do that yet? Did she do it? I want to know.
Johnny liable for. And those 2 other statements really went to the heart of this is made up, right? These allegations are untrue. The one statement they found liability on was very fact specific, and I can see why the jury maybe found liability for Johnny on this specific statement because of the fact that it was so fact specific, right, about relating to one incident, May 21, 2016.
You've been made a partner. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you very much.
That's very exciting.
Yes.
Very well deserved.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, what's next?
At this point, I'd like to maintain as much normalcy as possible in my life. So what's normal to me is I'm an advocate. I love what I do. I'm really lucky I get to do what I love and work with people like Jessica and Sam
Yes,
and Casey
Sam!
here, who's my paralegal, legal assistant, really our support. We would not have been able to win if it wasn't for Casey. And, you know, I just want to continue doing really good work for people that need my help and that I feel are deserving of it. And that's what I get to do every day. So what the future holds, I don't know. I mean, you're right, there are some opportunities to do different things in media, which is in your world. We'll see. We'll see what comes next. No decisions have been made.
Well, I have to say that working with this
Yeah, she's apparently former Marine. She badass. We met some Judge Penny. I'm gonna kick your ass.
team in particular has been one of the most rewarding experiences of my career. And so I just want to keep doing that. I don't ever want to go into battle without these people.
That's it for Law and Crime Presents, The Women Behind.
Oh, that's it. What else do we got?